If your objective is to be happy and be financially free, there are opportunities that will get you there outside of just going down a specific path that someone else says, hey, this is the path you need to go. Yo, what's up, good people? I hope you're doing extremely well. I wanted to ask you guys a question today, or really a question that you should be asking yourself. And that is, what value do you offer in exchange for financial freedom? And I want to ask this question because it's something I know I've struggled with in the past, and I think a lot of people struggle with this because we don't learn to ask ourselves this until we get much later in life, or sometimes never. Sometimes people don't ever ask themselves this question because of, the way we learn to value what we do or value who we are in terms of money or in terms of, just our finances is built a large part around what we believe or are taught our value is in terms of jobs and things like that. So, we may think that, or we may understand or learn that, hey, a doctor or a lawyer or a plumber or whoever makes X amount of dollars per hour based on what they've acquired knowledge-wise. And we start to govern ourselves based upon that when we're looking for our worth or our value, or when we're trying to acquire our value in terms of money and things like that. We have this notion in our head that it's all based on this hourly amount or this, preconceived set dollar amount that is determined by some other outside entity. So, for us to have that mindset, we think that, hey, there's no way for me to get past this dollar amount because it's already preconceived. I know if I want to make X amount of dollars per hour, I have to get X amount of hours of schooling or education, right? Which is not necessarily true because there are entrepreneurial opportunities all the time that pay so much more and are really infinite in terms of your financial capability based on not necessarily you just acquiring this specific amount of knowledge, but understanding that you have worth or that you have value or that you can charge for your value once you know what it really is. Once you know what your value is and you're able to frame that value proposition in a way where it's tangible for people, you can charge whatever you want to charge for that. And that's what happens. A lot of people are already at that place when they come to an entrepreneurial place, and they're able to understand that, hey, just because, in this listing or wanted listing, this job is paying this specific amount per hour, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to charge that when I'm doing it from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And, that's the truth. That's the truth, really. You can be a plumber. A prime example, you can be a plumber working for a company that employs plumbers and be making a set amount of money per hour, but you can also own your own plumbing company and be making a lot more than that if you are of that mindset that, hey, my value is my value. I don't have to determine my value or set my value based on what somebody else's expectation of what I'm doing is. And I think people kind of fall in line with that. If you really think about it, just like if you're buying something from a store, you go in with a preconceived notion of how much something is worth. But depending on if that store is an upscale store or, a store that you feel is a discount store or what have you, you have your preconceived notion of what you're going to pay for things because of that. Now, a lot of times, and people don't realize this, you're looking at the same item or the same quality of item that's in both stores. So, prime example, you may go into a high-end store and you're looking at the same fabric, you're looking at the same item that you're going to the discount store. Yes, it has a different name on it, that may, warrant this designer or whatever says this designer is worth more, but it doesn't, the garment is going to do the same thing. Or, the whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a garment, it doesn't have to be clothes. Just apply that to everything or anything. It's the same thing. It's a preconceived value. And I think, that person or that company has basically decided upon the value of what they're offering and put it out there as that is the value, and people fall in line with it. People fall in line with the value that you put out into the universe. So if you're putting out into the universe that you are value this, but in your mind, you value something more, then, you're putting out there that you're only value what you're getting. So you have to be really conscious of that and be able to really give people the understanding of the value that you want to give them. So never shortchange yourself in that respect. Like, let people know that, hey, if I feel like I'm valued higher, if I feel like I'm valued more, let people know that. I think a lot of times, we shortchange ourselves in what we can produce and what we can get back from the things that we create, because we are so fixated on, I just want this number, or I just want to get to this point where I'm making this, and it happens in jobs too. People, have this preconceived notion of, oh, I just want to work a job making, $100,000 a year or something like that. And you're thinking that is your worth. If you're stuck there on just $100,000 a year, a job is your worth, then that's where you're going to be. Most likely you're going to fall either there or below that, because you're not giving yourself room in the value proposition. You're not knowing that, hey, what you may have to offer, someone else may think that is more valuable than what you're setting the value at. And that's the real thing. Like, just because you set your value at a low thing, at a low point, someone else may come along and have a totally different value perspective of where you are. And, I had to learn that the hard way, because, I did see instances where, oh man, on paper, I could have charged this for the things that I know, or I could have charged, this for the things that I was doing. But because my value proposition, my own value proposition was so low, I put my own self in that box. So you have to be able to get yourself out of that box and put yourself in a place where you are presenting yourself in the value that you want to receive. And that's what it really comes down to. If you can put yourself in that value place where there's a potential of me making more or having more value than I'm putting out into the universe, let me be receptive to that. Or let me be receptive to the fact that someone else may see something greater in what I'm doing, or be able to see the value that I want in what I'm doing, and let me be open to, receiving that value and really receiving the benefits from that, because, that's a real thing. It's a real thing. Too, don't let yourself get caught up in someone else's devaluing of you. That's the thing as well. This is one of the main reasons why people are stuck in what they're doing, because someone has convinced them to devalue themselves and devalue what they have to bring to the table. And it's really a conditioning to keep you working for them, or keep you in a place where you aren't, able to really write your own ticket, or, carve out your own place in life and move beyond the place of just working at a certain level. To do that, to get beyond that point of just working at a certain level, you really have to understand your value and be able to get that value out of every situation. And it's really as simple as that. It's once you figure that out too, it becomes a lot easier to navigate situations that require you to ask for what you want or what you need, and it really, that is a really huge part of it. If you're in a situation where, there's something in front of you that you want, and, you're not able to ask for that thing or ask for, what is going to get you to that place because you feel like, oh, I'm not worthy of that now. And that's really what it is. It's like, do you feel like you're not worthy of asking for that resource or asking for that thing because you feel like, it's above you're above your pay grade. Is it above your pay grade? And that's the thing. Like, there is nothing above your pay grade. There is nothing in life above your pay grade. You should never feel like there's something that is out of your reach in terms of, what you can achieve, especially because you haven't acquired a preconceived knowledge place or knowledge bank, that someone is saying dictates you to be paid this much. Yes, I understand that there are certain things in life that you have to acquire knowledge for. And that is very real. Like if you are, wanting to do something that is very complicated and, it requires a lot of knowledge to do that, then learn how to do it. But its value is not determined by some preconceived stamp of this is worth this amount of money for this amount of hours. That's BS. It's not real. It's fictitious. Someone is making it up because it keeps things in nice little boxes. It keeps people on certain levels in terms of what they're able to do, and it keeps things in order in terms of this particular person can only make this much, can only aspire to be this, and that's fine. And don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. You can do anything you want to do. If your objective is to be happy and be financially free, there are opportunities that will get you there outside of just going down a specific path that someone else says, hey, this is the path you need to go down. And if you're not smart enough to go down this path, or technically, book smart enough to go down this path based on our systems, then, financial freedom is not for you. Don't believe that. There are other ways around it. There are so many opportunities that you can acquire or get you in a place of financial freedom that has nothing to do with, somebody else's specific system putting you in a box or a category saying that you can't achieve that. So always know that. Always know that there is another way around it, and there are other things that you can do, legal things, obviously, legal things that you can do to get you to that place. And, just be open to that and be receptive to that. I hope this was helpful to someone, and we'll see you in the next one.